Hello, I'm Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar. I'm a pediatrician.
Hello, I'm Dr. Manoj Bhatawdekar. I'm a psychiatrist. In this series on wise parenting, we have been discussing about emotional development and shaping of behavior of preschoolers. Today, we are going to talk about a very important but rather unpleasant area, that is disciplining. Disciplining is important because it shapes a child's behavior. However, it is unpleasant because it involves a lot of rules and restrictions. Parents find it difficult to implement discipline onto their children, and children find it difficult to follow the do's and don'ts. It is very important here to remember that a child cannot be singled out of context and disciplined. A child learns, imbibes discipline through learning, through modeling, through observation, through imitation. So, if there is discipline in the air, the child naturally absorbs it. Parents need to demonstrate integrity and discipline through their own behavior so that it becomes easy for the child to learn it.
Let us take a few examples. Now, if there's a rule in the house that you should remove your footwear when you enter the house, and the child is supposed to follow this rule, but the child observes that his father many times walks around throughout the house, even including the kitchen, with the shoes on. Whenever the child sees this, he is confused. He feels that the rule is meant only for him. And maybe when he's a little older, he will start questioning this rule. So, if there is a rule in the house, it has to be followed by each and every member of the house, including the elders. The same thing happens with food. Many houses have this rule that whatever is cooked in the house has to be eaten by everybody. But if the father finds that there is a dish which he does not like that is being cooked in the house, and he says, "Oh, let me have my lunch at the office today," then obviously the child is going to get angry because he feels that there's one rule for him and one rule for the elders. So, whenever you're making rules, please ensure that the same rules are followed by everybody, including the parents and other elders in the house. About the clarity of the rules, let me take an example. A young boy was very angry with his mother and he started kicking his mother. The father was around and immediately stopped the boy. And he said, "If you're angry, you can hit with your hands, but not kick." Now, what message does this give to the child? The child feels it's okay to hit, only kicking is not allowed. Actually, that is not the message that you want to give the child, right? So, be very clear about the rules. Please don't be ambiguous about them. If the clarity is there, the child is more likely to follow the rules. While following rules, we have to remember that children are very smart and they can find loopholes through which they can escape.
Yes, there can be loopholes within the family, between one parent and the other, between a parent and a grandparent, or maybe between siblings and parents. For example, if the mother has said no to mobile and the grandmother calls the child surreptitiously and hands the mobile into the child's hands, what is the message that the child is getting? Whenever the child wants to watch something on the mobile, he will approach the grandmother and not the mother. It is very important to create clarity about what is sanctioned, what is not sanctioned, what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what exactly is allowed and what exactly is not allowed. I know it is difficult, but one can still understand this from an analogy which was given by Dr. Fritz Redl. It's an analogy about three colors of traffic signals: red, green, and yellow. Red refers to absolute no. If you break this rule, you are fined. So, what is absolutely not allowed belongs to this zone. So, the list could differ from family to family, from person to person. But there is a clear list. The green zone refers to a clear freeway. There is no restriction. You have complete freedom to behave in this green zone. The yellow zone is a zone of discretion. And who uses discretion? It's the parents.
For example, if the child is sick, or if there is some turmoil in the family that is going on and everybody is affected by that, then in that situation, certain rules have to be bent, and it's okay to bend them in that particular situation only. So this is the yellow zone. About the green zone and the red zone, one thing you must remember is that the red zone has to be as small as possible. I mean, you have to have just those things listed over there which are absolutely never allowed. And the green zone has to be a much larger zone, which gives the child freedom, which gives the child opportunities to explore everything. So remember to keep the red zone rules as less as possible and the green zone as flexible as possible. There are so many things that can shape the disciplining of a child, and we will talk about some of them in the next few sessions.